I'm just so happy to be here, first of all, to have a microphone, to have a camera, and to have no Trump supporter to my left or my right. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's good. So happy. So happy. So I get a chance to just say what I think. Some people fight with sound bites. Some people fight with lawsuits. Some people fight with protests. It's very rare, though, to have an individual whose imagination itself is a weapon and a tool in the struggle for human rights and human dignity. But the imagination of Reginald Hudlin is that weapon and is that tool in the struggle for human rights and human dignity. Reginald Hudlin is a special person in this country, but he's especially important to those of us from communities that are very rarely represented at our height and our highest expression and aspiration. Reginald Hudlin has, in a land of magic and make-believes, a special magical power to take the same screen and use it in two ways. On the one hand, when Hudlin puts up a production, it is a window. It's a window into the best of Black America. It's a window into our highest hopes, our highest dreams. But it is also for us a rare mirror where we can see reflected back to us who we are and who we want to be and who we wish we were. Who else but Reginald Hudlin would have the imagination to take a Thurgood Marshall off of a pedestal and put him back down into the grit and the grime and the struggle of the early movement, and by so doing, elevate him even further? Only a Reginald Hudlin would have the imagination to do that, and he did that with the Phil Marshall. Who else but Reginald Hudlin, as a young man, would be able to take something as simple and common as a house party and use it to celebrate and to intoxicate and to excite a whole generation about just how we be and how we get down, and to make it universal? Only Reginald Hudlin could make a house party a cultural event, but he did that with his first film. Who but Reginald Hudlin could take something as complicated and as painful and as risky as slavery, and somehow through Django, tell a love story to remind people that no matter how many times we're chained or whipped or beaten, African American human beings are human beings, and our love matters, and we fight for who we love and what we believe. Who but Reginald Hudlin would have the imagination to pull a love story out of slavery? If I could spend an hour up here, I could tell you my personal witness about this brother who, when I was at my lowest point, came and pulled me up and picked me up and helped me find a way forward. I wouldn't have the career I have right now had it not been for Reginald Hudlin. And I'm not the only person in this room who can say that. He's not just somebody who creates heroism on the screen. He leads a heroic life. So I want to say I'm proud as an African American that we had Shirley Chisholm in Congress. I'm proud. I'm proud that we had Thurgood Marshall in the courts. I'm proud that we had Barack and Michelle Obama in the White House. And I am proud that we have Reginald Hudlin right here in Hollywood. Bring to the stage my hero, my brother, the man himself, Reginald Hudlin. Where's my brother? Here he comes. Reginald Hudlin. The imagination of one man. A weapon and a tool. I love you, brother. Love you, brother.
Thank you, brother. That was incredible. Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna step over here.
Yes, sir. Wow, thank you, Van. Van's one of those cats who always makes you feel better about yourself as a person. Thank you. It's incredible. And I also feel smarter every time I talk to him. I go, oh, I talked to Van. I can eat off that for a month. Also want to thank that unbelievable performance by Andre Day and Common. It doesn't matter how many times I hear the song, I get goosebumps every time, and that is the brilliance of Diane Warren. Thank you, Diane, for calling me and going, yeah, you're making a movie. I'm going to write a song for it. Okay. And that's the point. I mean, the fact is, this award, which I am so grateful for, I mean, no award is ever earned alone. And first, I really want to thank the folks who brought us here, the ACLU of Southern California. I want to thank Tom Artenberg of Open Road Films, not only for his support of my film, but of the organization. I want to thank Starlight Media and all the producing partners on Marshall for letting me tell this crucial civil liberty story. I come from a long line of activists, from my great-great-granduncle, who was a conductor on the Underground Railroad, to my mother, who's here tonight, who in her retirement after a lifetime of teaching special education, in her retirement, she decided to kick all the drug dealers out of our neighborhood in East St. Louis where we grew up, and succeeded. I am so grateful for all those role models that they provided, and I try to pass on those lessons to my everyday inspirations, you know, my children, Helena and Alexander. And for them, I thank my partner in everything, Chrisette, who makes everything I do possible. I'm indebted to all those people, but I'm keeping this for me. This is one of those times when I'm getting an award that I really care about, and what makes it even nicer is the other people who are getting an award, because this is a hell of a night. I mean, when you look at the folks who are also getting awards, I mean, you look at John Apatow, who somehow recorded conversations in my home and made This Is 40. Gina Rodriguez, I remember getting my whole family to watch Jane the Virgin. And my wife and my daughter were like, this is so good. How did you know it was going to be good? Like, Dad knows something? Give Dad some cool points. I worked with Viola Davis on City of Angels, which is a medical series by my friend and mentor, Stephen Bochco. And in the episode, she plays a nurse who was sexually assaulted in the hospital. She was so completely convincing that when she finished shooting the scene, I remember thinking, why is she on set? She needs to go to a hospital. And then I was like, no, she's acting. I just believed everything that happened, and I still, oh my God, why are you doing that with your son? Anyway, and then we have Jane Fonda, who wrote the book. How to Be a Politically Active Artist and Celebrity. You've done it like none other. God bless you. Her support for the anti-war movement, for civil rights, for black power, for women's rights has never faltered and continues to this day. That's a bunch of entertainers, and we all do that, and we're proud of it. But then there's Doris Huerta. There is no glamour in her life, just the satisfaction of making the world a better place. And all of us should, I mean, she's going to get honored tonight, but let's just give her applause right now. Let's just say thank you. Oh, I forgot Colin's in the house, too. Dude, just for bringing the afro back. I mean, I'm just all in. So many of our greatest heroes, people like Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, defied unjust laws in the pursuit of justice. What made Thurgood Marshall unique was that he made laws. He took the promise of the American justice system, phrases like all men are created equal, and he brought it, as best he could, into reality. He didn't just fight the power, he became the power. And that's an important thing for us all to remember. Because the opposition tends to stand up on his hind legs and roar real loud and make themselves seem bigger than they are. But we are the majority, and we cannot forget it. We also have to remember that freedom ain't free. And it is exhausting to have to fight the same battles of a previous generation. But the cost of freedom is eternal vigilance, and every generation better be ready to scrap. We don't all have to be Thurgood Marshall. We can be the unlikely ally who wasn't looking for a cause, but stepped up when duty called. We can be the victim who finds the courage to stand up and fight back. We can be the juror who won't accept anything less than the truth. We all have a part to play. So if tonight the ACLU thanks us, we need to thank the ACLU. Marshall is about a search for truth. We are living in an era when the truth as a concept is under attack. There are people constantly trying to warp reality for their short-term needs of money and power. And technology is being used to brainwash a large segment of the population. It is more important than ever for us to hold fast to our values of freedom of the press, freedom of speech, the things that the ACLU fights for every day. But it's not enough for us to have good thoughts and express ourselves in social media. We have to put our money where our hope is. Now, this is a very generous room, but as they say, romance without finance is a nuisance. So if you're already a supporter of the ACLU, which you're hopefully all are, thank you. And if you haven't yet, let's join with Judd, let's match his money, and let's help them stand on the front lines of the fight for freedom. I thank them again for this award, and thank you for your support. Thank you very much.